Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. This is the New View Talks. Tonight we got the lovely guest, Miss Jessica Conley, coming from New Jersey, right? And tonight we're going to be talking about, does college equal success, right? So, Jessica, just if you want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit background about you.
Sure. Oh my goodness. I'm like, where do I start, right? So my name is Jessica Connolly. I am in my ninth year as a school counselor. We're trying to get rid of guidance.
Okay,
Just
okay,
the ACA, like they've been trying to get rid of that for quite some time. But so I'm in my ninth year as a school counselor in a high school that I graduated from. So I was giving back to the community. I have one part-time job that I'm actually an intensive in-home clinician with a nurturing parenting coach certification. That's one part-time, and then the other part-time, I'm a psychotherapist for private practice as well. So, and then obviously we are on Planted Seed. So, Planted Seed sprouted back in July of 2020. This is just to empower teens. As I'm still going through the motions of it, I'm, trying to see where we can plant that seed, and to give these teens a voice because essentially,
hmm
you have their parents living vicariously through them. They have to meet, society pressure and things like that. So, just to kind of let them figure themselves out and figure out what they love and what they want to do and to live in their purpose, not their parents, not society, what they love to do. So that's how Planted Seed came up. And we started speaking about it. And, I do something called What's Your Story Wednesdays. And I've been interviewing, and obviously I wanted to interview you, but it just so happened that we have a similar, like, thing going on, and it just, again, no coincidences at all.
At all,
Yeah.
not at all. So lovely. And honestly, like when we sat down and we had this discussion, I remember picking you up in the van, and as we were driving to go grab dinner, I'm just like, wait, what is it that you're working on? What do you have going? Like we have the same thing, just two different states. So I
Yes.
loved it. Of course, we had to connect, and all we can do is just continue to lift each other up. So
That's
thank you,
it.
thank you, thank you.
That's it. That's all we can do is just continue to just live in purpose and be living in purpose on purpose, if that makes sense.
hmm
And just being in service to people and whatever we're healing from, what we learn, what we go through and experience, just to kind of give to others because sometimes coming from our voice, and representation, us,
hmm
being in the BIPOC community, it's, it comes off differently. There's
Yep.
I feel like it's a little bit maybe even more empathetic per se.
hmm
Yeah.
And very much relatable too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So with everyone tonight, you guys all remember every New View talk, it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow, right? So as we're talking about tonight's topic, I don't want anyone to feel offended in any shape or form. That's not the energy. That's not the atmosphere that we're projecting off. Just grow, learn, get a new perspective, a new view, a new point of view. All right, so we'll go ahead. We'll get started. And tonight's topic is definitely going to be coming from. I'll give a little quick background on myself. I am a college graduate. I've also gotten my master's. I first generation low income home, oldest of four, right? Single parent home, all that, the everything, right? And I knew nothing about college. Like applying to college, I think the little private school that looked like a flea market when I attended, when I graduated, and they were like, "Hey, like, what's your major?" I was like, I don't know. I mean, my mom watched Law and Order all the time, so I was like, criminal justice, whatever. And then going to community college, there was a lot of jokes about that, like, "Oh, you're going to community college, you're going to the 13th grade, you're going to the 14th grade." All of that kind of kicked in. I changed my major 7 times, ended up finally coming down to something I found that I loved, ended up attending Barry University in Miami, Florida, got super engaged, super involved. If you knew me before Barry, you probably knew me as like, hey, that one kid that just didn't talk at all. Now you knew me after Barry. It's like, he has too much energy. He's on his longboard. Get him away from me. Right. So speaking about this, and I work in admissions and recruitment for a college for Barry University.
Right.
So of course, going out there and trying to recruit students and whatnot, not brainwash, but recruit, provide an opportunity to them. I have seen a lot, and I've encountered a lot of students always, and it breaks my heart that they come up and they're like, "Hey, my grades aren't the best, but this is what's going on. And a lot of them, they come from a similar background as me, and they have that passion, that drive that they want to grow and they want to learn, right? So with this topic, this is something that it is close at, something I'm kind of passionate about. And Jessica, if you want, give a little background about you
Oh
and
my
whatnot.
goodness. My goodness. Well, I come from, I could even give you. I mean, it's so similar. It's eerie. My dad is first generation here. He came here from Ghana. Came here on a student visa and was working. He came to school. It was called ABC Technical School. Who would have thought? Right. It was
Yeah.
it was in the city, like something so like simple. And then my mom only got up to the ninth grade. So, and my mom's Italian Irish. So first of all, putting that together in the 80s, you already have that. Um, and I'm the oldest of three. So obviously those pressures were there. But even senior year, I didn't even know what a GPA was. I was
Hmm.
more worried about what was going on at home to make sure that there was no domestic violence, any drugs, or the cops are going to be called, or am I gonna get 5 hours of sleep at least at night?
Yeah.
So I did apply to NJCU, and then I got, they said no, they rejected me. But then I went to cosmetology school. Fun fact. Um, and I was just there blow drying the mannequin's head, and I was just like, yeah, this is not this is not me. I need to be more in service. But I
Yeah.
did finish. Like I always, that's one gem that I would always say, always finish what you start.
Yep.
Don't sit there and say, okay, I'm not gonna go back. I don't need it. I don't need it. No, you started it, finish it so you have something to fall on. And I always said, cosmetology school was my plan B, as with my plan A was always my longest. So with that being said, I decided to go to Hudson, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're in community college," and I'm like, "It's paid for. I don't have
Yes.
anything to be worried about." And then I got the opportunity to do instant decision day with NJCU. That's called New Jersey City University. So I was able to, because my GPA was at a 3.8, I was at 3.8. I was able to get a presidential scholarship that all I had to worry about was books for 2 years.
Hmm.
So, obviously, I went, did my undergrad, bachelor's in psychology, master's in school counseling, and then obviously went back for a license, associate counselor, student associate counselor, supervisor cert, and the list keeps going. And but yes, yeah, definitely, went back and finished because I really wanted. I felt that I needed to be with the teens because my school counselor wasn't good.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Oh, you're gonna work at McDonald's?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "You want to be an actress?" I said, "I would love to be an actress. I mean, what are my choices? I don't know what my choices are. I would love to be an
Hmm.
actress." I was in acting. I got an A. It was easy, and he just made fun of me. So I was like, you listen. If you're gonna be an actress, you're gonna be the best damn actress that I know. If you want to be a doctor, I'm gonna help you be the best doctor that I know or can give that much information for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
And
similar, very similar.
okay. And you
Yeah.
ended up coming back for his job though, right?
Who? Oh, it's so crazy. That's I'm in his. Well, okay, so they redid The Office. I did my internship there, and sure enough, I came back. That was real petty of me, right?
Not at all. I call it growth, if anything. It's like, word, okay, cool. Let me show you what I could do.
I
That's
got
what I
you.
see it.
Yes. Yes.
So, all right.
Yes.
So as we kick off for this topic tonight, right? Last night I ran a poll and I asked everyone two questions. The first question was, what's the head factor that led you to college or led you to attend college, right? And I said internal or external. And internal, we kind of defined it as like personal drive or like your passion, a desire for growth, curiosity. And then for externals, we put like a lot of social pressures, kind of like how you had mentioned earlier. So social pressure, family standards, or FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? Or even like in a sense, kind of like the hype. And just based off the polls that we got last night, right? I got some numbers for you all. These are from everyone that's tuned in.
Yeah.
Last night, right? It for internal, 43% of people that voted on the poll last night said that they attended college for internal or personal reasons, right? 57% say they did it for external, for that social, that family standards, everything. So everyone else, it was kind of like that, just that I don't want to call it, I don't know, I'm just going to say it, for that pressure. That's why they attended college. Um, no, in
Well, you
that,
want to make your parents proud, and and that's one of the, you know, one of the check marks. Make your parents proud. You know,
hmm
your parents get to brag about you. Oh, look, so and so's in college. Look, they're not on the street. They're not a statistic. Blah blah blah.
yep.
It's more for the parents, essentially.
hmm
Sometimes.
Especially when it comes down to, like you said, the bragging, the whether it's out to your neighbors, to your church, to who, God knows who.
Yes,
But
exactly.
let me ask you, do you think, right, from a high school counselor perspective, do you think college guarantees success or
No,
results in success?
no, not at all.
Not at all.
I know people. So even during my time in college, I worked at Lowe's Home Improvement. So I met
Mhm.
a lot of contractors, plumbers, HVAC. They make more than you and I put together,
Yes.
and they love what they do. Yeah, they may be touching pipes and poop and whatnot, but
Mhm.
they love what they do. They love putting things together. They like working with their hands. They like to be manual. So no, I don't. I do think it's good for growth.
Mhm.
I do feel that college is, and I'm talking about like your traditional 4 year, 2 year at least, just to give you a different perspective because you get to meet different people and it's not the same people from high school. So you
Mhm.
still have people that were in high school that only got to the high school level, which again, nothing wrong with it. You're probably making more than me. You're probably making more than what I'm in debt in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're in some crazy debt, but I feel that it gets to the point that they just make so much money and they love what they do and you're supposed to be in service to people,
Mhm.
you know, and but you get to, and then like you also get to meet people. I feel like in college you get to meet people from different areas, from
Yep.
different countries, from everywhere, you know, so you get different views on that, you know, like I just feel you there are some positives for it, but it does not equal success at all.
Solid. And everything you just said, I'm just going to, she's preaching. Everyone who's tuned in, she is preaching solid facts, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot, and we later on we do have a little pros and a cons, but that key aspect, right? It helps with growth, but it does not guarantee that aspect of success. And this is coming from a admissions counselor, recruiter, whichever you want to call me, aspect, right? Where I've seen students that come in and they have that 4.2, that 5.9 GPA because their school's on a 10 scale, whichever,
Mhm.
and they get in, and all of a sudden it's just all fun and games to them, right?
Right.
And they don't take advantage of the opportunities that
Right.
college has presented.
Right.
And that's the main thing. Always, every if anything that you guys take away from tonight, understand that college is an opportunity that presents different opportunities, right?
Right.
It's open doors. You have to have that personal mindset to take advantage of that,
Right.
right? To go in to benefit from it. And also you got to see it as an investment. Because at the end of
That's
the day, this is money,
right. This is your
you know.
future. This is something that you're going to be doing pretty much maybe majority of your life if you change your major to what you feel what you want to do in life. I mean,
hmm
and then you have your negative aspect of college that sometimes I feel like it's a business and you're a
hmm
number.
Yep.
You're a number. But do you want to define yourself as that number? Like, oh, you know, I'm just going to go to college because I just need to go to college for my parents, or I got this great scholarship, whatever. Let me just go just to go. No,
Mm-mm.
that's, you know, you need to go for you. But how do you tell your parents no? How do you tell a college that you can get a full ride and you're like, no, I'm not going to go.
Yeah. That
You know,
that's a hard one right there. And I've experienced parents who you realize they're I'm not going to say dominating, but they are controlling every aspect of their child's decision and their life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those are the students that tend to either A, crash and burn within the
Drop
first
out.
2 semesters, drop out, right? Or they just completely like they go off the grid because they're doing something they don't love to do. They're doing
Right.
something that they have no drive for.
Because
Nothing's motivating them.
have no choice because they don't want to disrespect their parents, and their parents are
Exactly.
paying for it. Right.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I had a parent, I said to them, I said, I can't, if your daughter doesn't want to go to college, I can't force her. And she's like,
Hmm.
no, you're supposed to force to, you have to push them to go to college. I go, I don't get a stipend. I'm not pushing them to go there. I said, you're
Yeah.
paying for this out of pocket. Why would I force or, encourage her if she's not ready to be there yet? Like, why would I do something like that? And,
Hmm.
and I'll give you another example that I did a survey for my freshmen because obviously we are in, a pandemic. So I don't even know who my freshmen could walk past me in the street. I don't even know who they are. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't know you guys. But I did a survey and I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And one kid said, well, before my grandfather passed away, he told me that he wanted me to be a surgeon. And I
Hmm.
messaged him so fast, like, do you want to be a surgeon? Because these math, these math numbers,
Yeah.
statistics, yeah, math and science. And I'm just like, I don't want you operating on me.
Mm.
It's true though, right?
Yes.
Especially if this is something that you don't want to do, but now you're trying to live through your grandfather's dying wish.
Hmm.
How do you do that to some? How do you do that to a kid?
Without even talking to them and asking. All right.
Yeah, on
And
his deathbed, he said it, and I swear I got the paper, and I'm just like, wow, this was intense. This was intense. Like it was
mm,
intense to read that.
yeah. With this, I got some numbers for us, right? Did
Yeah.
some research
Okay.
and this kind of chimes in.
Yeah.
So last night, this is the National Journal of Next America poll from College Board actually, and everyone knows College Board. It's how you sign up for your SATs, ACTs, everything. And it said ethnic minorities view a college degree as being essential to success more than white students, right? It says they were asked if young people today need a 4-year college degree in order to be successful. These are some of the numbers. Out of 1,200 adults that were surveyed, 71% of minorities with a college degree viewed it as essential, compared to only 44% of whites with a college degree that said it was essential.
Mm.
Now, out of that, only 47% of whites surveyed believe that young people need a college degree to be successful. So you think about that. You got 71 versus that 47, where it's like, you know, now why? This kind of came down, everyone, uh, understand this just a different perspective. At the end of this article, it said that minorities are more driven for an education because at one point they were deprived of it. They weren't able to access it. So you really got to you stop and you think upon that. And I mean, now kind of like the climate that we're in, everyone now wants to be a business owner. Everyone now wants to kind of like
Entrepreneur. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these things. You want to jump on the stock market, you want to get rich overnight. Yes, understandable. Not saying nothing, you can't do it. It is definitely possible. We've seen it. I wish I did it because I wouldn't be where I'm at. But um, at the same, it's it has as it kind of like plays into a factor with you getting this education. You got to remember, at once upon a time, the education wasn't as easily accessible, right? So a lot
Even
of
to
people were going
women.
to college because
Even
that,
to women.
even especially to women,
Even to
especially.
women. Yep.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So
So
now it's like,
that,
go ahead.
that's crazy that you bring that up. Okay.
Hmm.
And what
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
saying
thought you were
is
gonna go.
that I think that, especially being a part of the BIPOC community, I feel that we have to have that pressure because of all the media with the negative stereotypes about the BIPOC
Hmm.
community. Just us not being smart. Oh, if you know a second language, like they shun you for having an accent. Like
Yep.
So we need it's I mean, I feel like that's more of an external, but it's also internal because that's the shame and guilt that we are holding within
Yes.
from the outside, that they're like, oh, okay, well, you know what, you need that degree. So
Yeah.
for example, if let's just say, Justin, I met you on the street and I'm like, oh, what do you do for a living? What degree do you have? Because they size you. They size
Yep.
you up. And it doesn't
Yep.
matter. And especially people outside of the BIPOC community, they size you up. And
Mm.
then let's take it the next level under the people in the BIPOC community. They're like, oh, where'd you go to school? What are
Yeah.
you doing? What's going on? And you're kind of like, you're sitting back, you're like, okay, well, did I really do this for myself? Like my satisfaction, or did I do this so that I have something to talk about to bring on the table? So like when people ask me, well, what do you do? I empower teens. Well,
Hmm.
well, tell me a little bit more about that. Well, then I go into that. I don't want my position or my title of my career title to be the definition of me. Like that's not my name.
Yep.
That's not what I do. That's not what I'm in purpose for.
Solid facts. And even with me, and I love that you said that, right? Like when people ask you, what do you do? For me, I say I provide opportunities to students that might not have known they could get access.
Oh
They
well.
didn't, because if I had, I wish I had an admissions counselor like me, which is my goal daily, because I didn't know anything. There's a lot of students who don't know anything, and half of the time they're kind of fed like, all right, are you coming or are you not? Are you going to submit that enrollment deposit or not? Okay, cool. Next, so it's kind of, and I see why people get into that mindset, which is something that I fight with daily, especially because at the end of the day, and I'm going to say this, I don't care what comes after. Admissions is a number game, right? It is very much so a revolving door of like, can I get these numbers? Can I get these 500, 600, 700, 800 students? And then after that, what happens? On to the next 5, 6, 700, 800. So I can see a lot of times people tend to become very disconnected and very just dull, numb
Right.
to what these students might be going through, right? And one thing I would definitely praise my team on, and I'm not giving my job too much of a shout out, but on our team, we because all of us have been there,
Mm.
we tend to, even if a student can't get in, right? We don't shut them down. We don't destroy their hopes, their dreams, anything else. No, we say, what's the next option, right? So we ask them, all right, this is what you want to do. Is this what you're passionate about? If so, okay, cool. So check out this. Let's go talk to one of our other reps who went to community college for 2.5 years and then transferred out, right? And found a different way to achieve their goals and their dreams. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize the student really might be seen as a major accomplishment, as mentioned, for that external factor or something internal. This might be their opportunity to flap their wings and get away from home, because home might not be a very, what's the word,
Maybe they should
productive.
be home. Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's too much going on right now at home that they can't even focus on that. Like that's not their
Hmm.
priority. Their priority is putting food on the table for their family or
Yep.
working full time and just to have the roof over their head,
Hmm.
you know? So it's like there's just so many other and obviously I see that. I have students that their parents were murdered, or I
Hmm.
have students that don't even have food on the table, or they're working right now. My seniors, they got a lick of money, they got like a little taste, and they are like, we're not interested in college right now. They're only making minimum wage, but guess what, it's helping their parents because their parents lost or their uncle or their aunts have lost
Yep.
their job. I have students who are refugees from these countries that even if they get a server job, or they decide to open up a restaurant, or they decide to do something like, do you know what I mean? Like anything
Yeah.
in that aspect, there's just so much going on that you know it, sometimes we have to take those steps back, especially in our both of our professions. We have to take those steps back and like, okay, so why isn't so and so performing? No, it's not because they have ADHD. It's not because let's not define them. Let's not do that check box.
Yep.
Oh, they have OCD. Okay, You know why they have that? Because something else is going on at home. Something else is going
Yes.
on behind their head that is continuing to rumble. You know what I mean? Like it's like snowballing thoughts that just
Hmm.
continue to just grow and grow and grow. And this is their outlet, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you guys don't stop at like, listen, you weren't accepted. You know what I mean? Like this is what you can do to be accepted. Because that's what
Hmm.
some of the colleges, yeah, they do with our kids.
Oh yeah, no, 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 no. It breaks my heart half of the time.
Yeah.
Um, so right, I want to touch back a little bit because I realized I kind of jumped the gun when I was asking you the question on does college equal success? So when you spoke about how like students are going to college, you're able to meet so many people. You're able to get you have access to so many different resources that can help you grow. Um, do you think right that some of the people who have attended college, or maybe they might have attended a college that wasn't for them, do you think that kind of plays a factor into why they might come out with a negative mindset towards college and then kind of dismay others?
Absolutely. Especially if they have like a terrible professor that's just there as an adjunct and they
Hmm.
didn't care. Um, or even if they wanted to do a specific career. Okay, let's just say
Yeah.
everybody wants to be a doctor.
Yeah.
If, oh, I want to study biology, I'm going to be a doctor or I'm going to be
Hmm.
a nurse. And then all of a sudden, now they see blood and they're like, nah, I'm not doing this. I can't believe I'm going through this, but I don't want to waste the money. So I'm not going to drop out. I'm going to continue to do it and kind of stick with it, at least with those classes for that semester.
Hmm.
Then the fact that when they switch their major, let's just say they're going to go into communications, they lose all those classes because it doesn't go into what that major is, like their core courses. That's what,
Yeah.
that, it's crazy. And then like you think that this is what you want, you think ultimately, and then now you want to change schools because now you're embarrassed because now you switched your major.
And now you're back to a freshman, or well, not freshman, but like a sophomore, junior.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically at square one. You're basically at square one. I mean, besides
Mhm.
like some of the core classes that they do have you do. Yeah, it's intense.
And with that, right? Specific fields. That's something I definitely wanted to sneak in.
Yeah.
When you are, let's say, for those that are looking for colleges, right?
Mhm.
You one thing that I wish that a lot of us were taught in high school, and hopefully, like the new generation counselors such as yourself and whatnot are doing, is understand what field are you going for. Number one, let's be realistic about this. As you said with the one student, your math scores, you're talking about you want to be a surgeon, but math wise, you're not really doing that well. At the
Mhm.
same, what fields are making money right now in this climate that we're in? Like in what? So for instance, right now we know it's STEM. A lot of is science, technology, engineering, mathematics,
Yep.
all of that is like flourishing, right? So if you're going to school for that field, understand that that pay range is probably going to be pretty rewarding, right? So it's like you're doing this investment, you're putting this money into. It
Right.
is definitely is going to show that reward coming back, because what you got, jobs that are hiring, you got jobs that are being made. Tesla, Google, like all these different places are picking up, and you see where the world we're trying to transition over towards like cleaner energy. So this is something that at the same, when people are selecting college and students, young adults are selecting colleges, these are the key aspects of some of the research that we should be doing that none of us ever really knew how to do.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
the thing is you know what it is, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people,
Mhm.
and this is outside work. I feel that right now we have so much information. It's like information overload. We have
Mhm.
so much information at the palm of our hands, we don't even know where to start. So we become overwhelmed. Even as adults, we become overwhelmed and we're like, all right, this is enough. Like I'm checked out. So
Yeah.
imagine a teen, and I tell my juniors, I go, you guys should be looking at colleges right now. Not with this I mean, let's talk about pre-pandemic. We usually have college night. We invite people to come for, recruiters like yourself, come by, talk about what you have to offer. Money is a big factor too, but
Yes.
majors, majors like Felician is known for nursing. Rutgers, we know is a party school. My students, they're like, Miss, did you go to Rutgers? I was like, no, I didn't go to Rutgers, but I went to Rutgers. Like I've, you know, so
I
it's
know.
like, and JCU has always been known for the teacher school. And again, I'm talking about New Jersey schools. I'm sure in Florida, um, what Barry's known for, like what is their specifics. NJIT up here by us, NYIT, which is New York,
Mhm.
is architecture, engineering. Like these are known schools, but you know what if they're first generation, and what if their parents didn't even get past eighth grade?
Yeah.
Because this is a lot still. The cycle still continues that people are coming here from other countries and they didn't even get past, like, I have students coming in that never got past the fourth grade. They don't know how to
Yeah.
read because they had to drop out to support their family.
Help. And
Yeah.
that's it. That is it right there. And with that, right? Actually, let's just go ahead. We're going to touch up on some of the pros and the cons
Okay.
because it this like there's so many just different avenues we can go in
Right.
with everything about this.
Hmm.
So what we had did was some research, right? And it was a list of pros and cons of attending college.
Okay.
Of course, the biggest one that everyone always preaches, and I even preach this: the cost. Of course, college to attend for, let's just say, I think the median
Hmm.
of attendance at college is about $45,000,
Yep.
right? And we're talking about room and board and tuition. Cool. Now you got other schools that's just way out there. The one thing that a lot of students, I'm not going to say people, a lot of students miss, or they kind of have this different understanding of, is like, oh, if I go to college, I'm going to get scholarships. Not necessarily, right? You have schools that, of course, they guarantee, they offer scholarships and merit awards, and you have other schools that they're just like, no, we want you to come, but you got to figure it out. And if you don't have that
Right.
balance paid,
That's that private school. Some private
you
schools,
know,
right?
exactly. And then now, congratulations, you attended your first semester. You got to pay back the school $25,000 without a college degree, and now you have to go figure that out. But you can't. I'm not going to say you can't. It's harder to find a way to get that money to pay off that balance that you got by trying to go to school to get that money. You get, so it's kind of like a never ending loop.
Right.
Um, but at the same, for the students that don't attend college, number one, this is going to be the flat answer for today. You do not need to attend college to become
No.
successful. That is not
Absolutely
guaranteed.
not.
No,
Absolutely not.
not at all. And that's coming from high school. That's coming from higher ed. Both ends. We are telling you no.
Yes.
You can achieve it. It is definitely. It's just understand that college has. It makes it easy. It makes gathering your resources easier because it's all in a collective space, and at the same, you're being guided. Now, of course, you're still going to encounter those crappy teachers, those professors that just make you regurgitate the 8, 9 chapters that you read or decided to cram last night because you wanted to party. I've done it, whatever. But
Hey.
and, and at the same, that is kind of what also adds to that college experience, where it is, you are learning, as you mentioned, you're learning to live with people that you have never met before, right? You're meeting people from all over the world. A lot. I've seen some comments on tonight's chat of people saying like, "Hey, look, that was my best experience in college, was meeting my friends, family, people that they. I got friends from California that I would have never ever met,
Right.
because I chose to attend." Now, at the same, as we mentioned, you do need to take advantage of those opportunities. You need to go ahead and put yourself out there. If you're not going to reap, you're not going to benefit from it. Now, outside of that, you can still attend. You got trade schools you can attend. If you wanted to, you could go to a community college to get a certifications, right?
Right.
Which are way more affordable than these $45,000, per year. And we talking about 4 years. You do the math. I'm not a math major, but I know that's way more than I make in one year,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So there's alternative options, and we've seen even now trade schools are starting to become more and more popular, right? Because it's like, well, why would I go to college and I got to take English 305? I'm not an English major. I got to take theology 101, and I'm not nothing about me might be
Right.
religious, right? Why
Yes.
do I have to take statistics? I'm not a math major. I'm communications. So that is
Well,
certainly
that's
the.
where that business aspect that I said, that's that business aspect. But
Mm-hmm.
you're absolutely, so actually what they are doing too is there's a lot of businesses. There's actually a business down in Jersey City that they do millwork. And what they're doing is I'm trying to think the name off the top of my head, and I can't link it, but
Mm-hmm.
give me a second. What they did is that they connected with Hudson Community College, so then they can get a hands-on degree, and they're
Mm.
going to start them off within 3 years with a job. They're starting off at $70,000. Hmm.
So I might be coming back up north.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep on that
So
70
and
grand.
they're doing a lot of those the co-sponsoring, like businesses linking with community colleges so that they are already walking into a job once they're out,
Mm.
once they're done
Mm.
with the degree. And actually this place, this millwork place, and I'll get the name so that you can kind of put it, as a resource. um they actually pay for half the school. So you can go to community college, you'll go through the degree, you get your financial aid, you can do
Mm.
whatever it is that you need to do, but they will pay for half of it if need be.
That's a great opportunity right there.
Yeah, yeah,
That is a
yeah.
very good opportunity. Yeah.
And it's amazing. And like I said, there's a lot of businesses doing this right now. Especially, I've seen it more with like construction and a lot of you know just hands on,
Yeah.
a lot of even HVAC.
And you had mentioned something earlier about I know what it meant, but can you explain a little bit just for some of our viewers what BIPOC means?
So that's basically the community of people of color. So people of color, Latinos, Latinas, Black, Caribbean, African American, African. It even goes into even Indian. Everything other than
Hmm.
you know um, Anglo-Saxon white.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the last pros and cons, right? It said college graduates have more and better employment opportunities. That's the pro. The con, many college graduates are employed in jobs that do not require college degrees.
So it's like that circle. I
Uh
feel like
huh.
it's like that never ending cycle that, for example, you graduate high school, go to college, take out these loans to go to college,
Hmm.
to get a job that now you have to pay those loans back
Hmm.
in a position that you don't even want to be in until you die.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah. And it we see now, right, that there's starting to become more of a shift, as we mentioned with the trade schools and whatnot. But a lot of these tech employers are starting to offer their own forms of training or education, right? And they do not require high school, or not. I'm sorry, not high school, college degrees.
Right.
Like I see, Google just kicked off. I forget what it's called, but I found it, and they're talking about paying people about $54,000, $55,000,
Wow.
right?
That's intense.
In 2020, the average, just some numbers we got, the average income of a bachelor's degree was making about 60, I think. Hold on, let's click on this. 66,000. That's what they said for bachelors,
And
right?
what part of the country?
I no, I don't know what part of the country, and I nor do I know what race they might have been, interviewing. Um,
Yeah, because that's a whole other.
ball field, that is
Yes.
tough. But the idea of, more employers now are starting to make it, I guess, more fair and open, right? So these students that we do encounter, the ones that have the drive, they have the passion, they have the ambition, but they don't have the understanding, right, of that GPA, or nor do they have access to the financial support or the resources. they still are going to be receiving that opportunity to go ahead and receive these educations. This not education, education to grow as they want.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've noticed that with Google. I've actually received some emails that they were like, wow, like I think it was one was like writing, like grant writing. I was seeing a lot
Mm.
of grant writing. I've seen there were some other things that I saw with Google. Yeah, they're like big right now.
Hmm. Google, Tesla, um, and then now because of the cryptocurrencies, everyone now is like, "Hey, I'm going to be a crypto millionaire." Of course, I hope
But right now the number one thing is coding and cybersecurity has been
yes.
A1 right now.
Hmm. And they're teaching. They have all these pop up shops. Some of them now are even starting to take financial aid,
Right,
which
right.
can support. So,
So back to I'll just tell you really quick. It's called Holz Technic Academy. So, and this is obviously something that they were doing with North Bergen. So HOLZ Technic TECHNIC Academy. And this is with Eastern Millwork. So if you put in Eastern Millwork in Jersey City, they have all the like these great opportunities. I definitely wanted to get that information for you.
got you. And for some of the viewers too, hopefully you guys got that. If not,
Yeah.
we're going to have it on the podcast.
Period.
All right. Well, Jessica, I don't want to keep you much longer.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you for tuning in tonight. I've been writing down some notes as well. Yes,
Awesome.
I appreciate this.
Thank you, and I appreciate this. Wait, we have to do a fun facts.
Oh, yes. Okay, so go ahead. Give
So
us some.
Justin, tell me your fun fact.
Ooh, okay. Hmm. I am a strong addict of raspberry sherbet. Yep,
Raspberry.
raspberry sherbet. Like I had
Orange is better, but okay.
Talenti's. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Yeah, actually, I'm going to grab some after this as a reward.
For doing this, you
This
well
and also
deserved.
work.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Same.
What about you? Let's get some fun facts about you.
Fun fact. Well, I told you that I have my license, my cosmetology license. Another fun fact. I'm the biggest Buster Rhymes fan. I mean, if you know me, you know that I have this undying love. He's my husband and he doesn't know it for Buster Rhymes.
So what does your
His
your what does
energy
your
is
husband say?
astronomical. Is that what
What,
you
what
say?
how does your husband feel about your husband who's not your husband?
Oh, he's 100. He knew before. I you have like my whole bedroom my senior year was filled. I actually met him 2 years ago at my gym and I was so nervous and I was like nice to meet you. He's like anytime love and I was like "Bleh." I like fell on the floor. I was just like he's amazing. Like his energy is seriously astronomical. That fun fact. Don't ever play it in the car because then it's like we're probably gonna get into a car accident because I'm gonna go crazy.
I got you. I got you. I got a few Busta songs. I got you.
They're
Now I know.
the best.
I know. Okay, okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Besides the raspberry sherbet, I feel like that was kind of basic compared to your Busta Rhymes. The other one, I am a big time geek, like nerd. You see like these posters and everything?
Hmm.
Oh yeah. We talking like anime, we talking like Mortal Kombat. Not happy with the most recent movie though.
I
Godzilla.
heard it was trash.
I'm not okay, so look, I'm not gonna use this platform to bash anybody's creativity. I'm just gonna say I could have delegated a good 2 hours of my life towards something else. And I'm gonna leave
Oh
it at that.
no.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah.
I can watch it. I saved my 2 hours. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on to those 2 hours.
I
Mm.
watched Black Panther again.
They kind of ripped off of Black Panther a little bit. That's all. But I'm gonna drop it on that. Let's just say somebody got the same suit. But yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even.
hmm
Dang,
So yeah,
I love it. I love
that's
it.
the
Yeah.
support. Thank you all though for tuning in tonight. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you for
thank you.
having me. It's always
Yes.
a pleasure. I'm looking forward to some more, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.